Hey everybody. Hey, we're talking about Proverbs today. I want to share a scripture with you. Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7 says this: "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, and fools despise wisdom and understanding." Fools despise it. They don't like true wisdom, because wisdom, real wisdom, comes from the Lord. Wisdom to know what to do with your life, wisdom to know how your life should be spent. And that, of course, Scripture teaches us that should be spent glorifying, honoring God. There's a creed, a saying that was developed a long time ago. It goes like this: the main thing, the chief end of man, your basic reason for existing is to do this, to glorify God and to enjoy Him forever. That's the reason you exist. That's the number one reason that you should pursue. Should I be a doctor or a lawyer or a truck driver or whatever? The main reason you exist is to glorify God and to enjoy Him forever. All those other things, they're secondary things. They're not as important as whether or not you will glorify God, as to whether or not you will enjoy God. That's what you exist on this earth for. And the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Here's what Proverbs is about. Here's Proverbs in a nutshell. A proverb can be a scriptural proverb, meaning it's about God and it's by people who believed in God, and it tells you good ideas for living. They aren't commands from God. They're simply, hey, you want a good life? You want to do things right? Here's a good way to do that. There are ancient Chinese proverbs. There are proverbs that you'd be familiar with that aren't in Scripture. Things like, if you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime, right? You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but if you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. There are all kinds of proverbs. It's not necessarily a guarantee that just because you teach a man to fish that he'll never starve. Maybe he can't find fish where he lives. Maybe he lives in a place that there aren't rivers and streams and lakes. He's in the desert. Oh, I taught him how to fish, so he's going to be all right. But if he's in the Sahara Desert, there's not going to be a lot of fishing happening there. So of course, these aren't promises from God, but they're proverbs. They're things that are generally true, things that time has tested and shown them to be right. So there are statements like, if you train a child up in the way that they should go, when they're old, they won't depart from it. Does that mean that every child who grows up in church and who grows up in Sunday school and whose parents teach them the right things and teach them about God stays a Christian? Certainly not. It's not a promise. It's a proverb. It's a general truth, meaning it's generally true. So if you train your children right, that's who they'll grow up to be. It's a general truth. So we're learning about Proverbs today, and the most important thing is the proverb that says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It's a general truth. You want wisdom? Where do I start? What do I do to find wisdom? What do I do to find what to build my life upon? You start by following God. Start by following God. That's where wisdom starts. Start by following God, Scripture says. That's a general truth. If you want wisdom, is there wisdom that can be found apart from God? Sure there is. It's wise to not go and pet a barking dog that's growling at you. It's not said. It doesn't say that anywhere in Scripture. There's nowhere in Scripture that says don't pet that dog. And yet, there's generally some wisdom out there available apart from Scripture. But if you're saying, I want a life built on wisdom, Scripture says best way you can do that, start with God. Start with God. Believing in Him, fearing Him, trusting Him. That's where wisdom begins. I hope that you'll take some time thinking about some Proverbs. Do yourself a favor. Look up Proverbs this week. Look them up after the video. And think about some of those Proverbs. Think about the truth in them. Think about them as they relate to your life. Are there ways that you can apply some of those Proverbs to your life right now? If there are, do it, because there are great wisdom sayings in the book of Proverbs. Our Buck Denver videos will be showing you some more stuff about Proverbs and who wrote it and all of that. So I hope you'll check those videos out. That should be included in the email that sent you to this. If you're not getting our emails, but somehow you stumbled onto this video on your own, let us know. Let Kay know, let myself know, let our church secretary know. However you need to do that, we'd be happy to make sure that you're getting our emails. Until next time, I love you all. I miss seeing so many of you. I hope you're doing well. I hope that you're finding rest in the Lord. Until next time, have a great week.